Welcome back, everyone, to episode 58 of the Tricks and Traps Speedrun. So I'm coming into today rated just over 2300. I did break 2300 last episode, even though I lost the last game of last episode. Hopefully I do not break 2300 in the wrong direction this episode. So let's hop into the first game. Okay, first opponent, playing Reject Reality. And yeah, let's go for Budapest. Been having some fun with the Budapest recently. White is playing a line where they've given back the pawn, taking the center. This is a very playable line for white. And I'll have to remember what exactly to do from the black side. Actually not sure whether I should play bishop c5 or bishop to b4. I think bishop c5 makes a lot of sense. Just piercing through this diagonal, making it a bit more difficult for white to castle kingside. And I'll play d6. Look to develop the other bishop. And going forward, yeah, development should be relatively natural. It's maybe a question what to do with this knight. It is weird having superfluous knights on the queen side. Probably most likely the knight will come to d7. There might be some cases where if white maybe tries this and this, then the knight can go to a6 and eventually to c5. Of course, queen e2 is a bit awkward, blocking the light squared bishop. Okay, white plays knight a4, so trying to remove my bishop from this diagonal. Yeah, that's a move. And if I leave my bishop here, let's say I play knight a6, I allow takes and takes. Looks like one option, then pressure e4. And bishop b4 is another option. Bishop d2. Yeah, leaning towards bishop b4, just to leave the knight on the edge. And yeah, bishop d2. I mean, we could trade. a5 comes to mind. Just support the bishop. I'll go for a5. So I make it, if white takes, I can take back with the pawn, and then the knight is kind of stuck on the edge. Okay, here I'll take, and let's castle. So yeah, the dust has settled a little bit. White is basically going to complete development, I think, without much issue. And going forward, I'd like to apply pressure in some way. And queen f6 comes to mind. I should just look to complete development, like bishop g4, and then knight d7. It looks like a very playable position. And I have the option of taking, but might as well leave the pressure. And yeah, even though white has more space, feels like I'm doing decently with the setup. Very solid position, not really too many weaknesses. I am considering taking and then knight d4. Looks kind of fun. It gives me some initiative. Might allow the rook lift. And let's calculate. Takes, knight d4, rook h3. Is it that scary? I could also stay flexible, like queen f6. I probably want a rook on e8. I'm not sure which rook on e8. Queen f6 first. Am I scared of e5? Takes. I think that should be fine. Okay, let's start with queen f6. Trying to be active. Long term, I am envisioning the idea of maybe planting the knight on d4. Okay, white has ideas of knight d5, which I do have to be a little bit careful about. Okay, now I'm thinking takes, let's say rook takes queen d4 check, and then knight c5. And then the knights can be nicely placed on the queen side. I mean, I'll briefly consider this. I think I still like queen d4 a bit more. Although I should calculate. Queen d4, king h1, knight c5, there is knight b5. And maybe it doesn't quite work for me. And c7 is attacked. I guess I could start with this and then maybe go for something else. Say king h1. Now, these knight jumps are a bit annoying. So another idea is to play this and then eventually c6. The concern is rook h3 and then e5 is a threat. So what to do? Yeah, rook h3 is very natural as well. That should be okay. Let's say knight d4, rook h3. We go for g6. If the knight hops in, queen d8, and queen c3. Yeah, well, it gets a lot of initiative. I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable here. Considering knight c5. Knight c5, allowing knight d5 and then check. Maybe that's the way to go. Or do I play g6 first? I'm burning a lot of time here. Knight d4, rook h3, c6, e5. That doesn't work. I feel like I have to play some like defensive move. I'm going to start with g6. It feels a little bit awkward, a little bit slow. But I felt like there were too many lines where white's getting some initiative on the king side. And with this, I'm waiting for white to hop in, and then I think queen d4 is more justified. So I don't have to worry about knight b5, and the rook can defend the pawn. Another positional principle to keep in mind is generally if the opponent has a bishop and you don't have any bishops, then you actually want your pawns on the same color as opponent's bishop to restrict it. So if white ever gets an e5, then the bishop is just staring at a very solid pawn formation. e5 might be playable, actually. Because after takes, the queen's attack twice. I can't take back on e5. And that should be okay, like e5. I don't even have to take. I could play queen g7. Okay, white still goes for rook h3. Interesting. So keeping some options open. Looking at this move. Queen d4. Maybe now queen d4. And rook e8. Rook e8, knight b5, queen b6. I'm not entirely sure. Huh. I really want to sack that pawn. Knight c5. There's also knight f6, which is kind of crazy. Idea knight g4. Yeah, what to do? Knight f6. It feels risky. I'm going to play rook c8. I know it feels a little bit passive. I didn't want the pawn to be a liability. I also want to wait to see what white does. f5 is very committal. f5 does have the idea of this, but gives me the e5 square. Okay, so white does go for f5. So now I'm thinking queen g7. And there's also maybe now rook e8. Okay, I think queen g7 to start. Yeah, it's tricky. I'm happy that white's committed to this, because now the bishop doesn't really play any role. And the one idea, queen h6, is no longer working, but there is this idea, potentially this idea. Can I trade knights like this? I think knight f6. It's kind of ugly. Calculating rook f1 takes, let's say takes, and wherever I move my knight, there's f6, and I have to put my queen on h8. That would be really sad. But maybe it's okay. Like, maybe the queen on h8 keeps my king safe. It's not something you see every day. The queen just boxed in, staying close to the king. So that would happen after rook f1. Okay, white doesn't do it. So now let's centralize this knight. Okay, now I'm feeling better. Got the knights harmonizing well. E-pawn is actually backwards. Potential target. Bishop b1. Let's put the rook on the half-open file. To be honest, I kind of forgot about this pawn, but I think I'm okay with losing a5. Maybe I can get some attack on the king side. Like knight g4 into f2. Also thinking this and then attack this. We'll start with knight g4. I'm choosing this knight to unleash the rook. There's ideas of rook e5 as well. Of course, I'm threatening this fork on f2, which white allows. Yeah, the intermezzo. I think white maybe assumed I have to take back, but I can take here. And I'll take with h-pawn. I could play rook e5 first. Play rook e5 first. Preparing the potential rook lift. And the pawn's pinned, so white doesn't have an in-between move. There's a lot of terms in chess for the in-between move, intermezzo, Zwischenzug, which is probably not the right German pronunciation. Intermediate move. Anyway, okay, I'll take with h-pawn. I want to keep my king safe. And this should be enough time to convert. And the play is very natural now. Rooks can double up. The queen can activate. e4 is a big focal point. There's 3 attackers, only 1 defender. So even if white moves a knight, there's actually not a great place to move the knight forward. If it retreats, I can still take the pawn. Wow. So if I take, there's a pin. That's interesting. Very clever. I mean, there's knight g4. I might just play queen h8. It's a weird move, but let's do it. My queen did find its way to the corner. At least here it's pressuring the half-open h-file. I'm not too scared of this check. Just king g7. And actually, white has many things hanging here. Like the knight's attacked, the pawn's attacked, this pawn's attacked. I don't think there's a way to defend everything. If queen g5, I can take because of the pin on the e-file. Okay, let's take on h3. Okay, I guess white found a way to have enough defenders of the e-pawn. What to do? King g7, preparing rook h8. It'll still take some work. Bishop f1 might be coming. I do have to watch out for potential issues with f6. But white also has to watch out. I'm threatening this. Queen f2 actually looks playable. Queen f2, maybe I play this. Just making sure my queen's defended. Like if knight h5, it's okay because I take and defend my queen. Okay, this game is going the full distance. Opponent's also getting low on time. Yeah, I'm going to play this. Basically over defending f7 and then ensuring that the knight can move. So applying more pressure. Oh, wait, I missed mate in 1. I was so set on adding another attacker. Let's play this. Rook e5. Okay, well now I have a bunch of attackers. White has no counterplay. Yeah, I got a little bit careless there. I'll take with knight. Take the rook. Can I end the game in checkmate before any flag? Let's play this. I'm up 2 exchanges. Check. 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 Okay. Got a pawn checkmate. The delayed Sicilian. Yeah, maybe not the smoothest game, but very interesting fight. I'm wondering if I had an improvement in the opening. This is a solid line for white. Knight a4. Engine actually doesn't like. Well, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, Stockfish says I should play knight d7, support the bishop, so if takes, I take back with knight, and pressure the center. That makes a lot of sense, just prioritize development. I checked. Yeah, I really didn't get much in this this middle game. I tried to be active, but it actually felt like, yeah, white's the one with the more active play, and I burned some time. White is better. It's actually much better here. So I want to show the line that I was scared of. Rook f1. And I probably was going to go into this. Take on d5. Let's say white takes back. Knight e5. Allowing f6 and queen h8. And it looks like really ugly. But, okay, I'm defending h7 and maybe f6 could be a target. Stockfish says white's much, much better. But maybe it's still a fight. Like I can try and attack f6. Maybe at some point, like expand on the king side. But yeah, white did not keep up the momentum, and eventually things shifted. Blunder knight f2, and then yeah, things were in control. So, yeah, that was the first game. That brings me to 2307. Hopefully that's a good wake up and warm up, and hopefully I'll be sharper for this next game. Starting now, playing R. Thanson. Play e4. What do I want to play? Let's play knight f3. d6. I'll go for this tricky Sicilian sideline, which white actually doesn't allow because, yeah, after knight c6, this no longer makes much sense. So, I mean, I could go into open Sicilian. I think I'll go for kind of a Rosolimo type position. Maybe later go for d4. Let's just castle. Okay, black is playing a dragon setup. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not so booked up here, but we'll maybe improvise a little bit. I think d4 makes a lot of sense. Just, yeah, go into open Sicilian. I'm already castled. Have a small lead in development. Might as well try and open the center. Yeah, my knight's attacked. So bishop e3, I think, is very natural. And yeah, black has a very traditional dragon setup. My bishop on b5 maybe is a little bit misplaced. Very often it's on e2 or c4 in these lines. I'm actually wondering if I can sack, like knight d5, sack the pawn. I mean, f3 is probably the solid choice here. Let's go for f3. Okay, castling. Queen d2 makes sense. So this does resemble like the Yugoslav setup where sometimes white likes to attack on the king side. But because I've castled kingside, this might require a more kind of patient positional play, which I'm not so thrilled with because this is a tricks and traps speedrun. But let's see if I can stir something up. Black's offering the trade of bishops. I'm tempted to play bishop e2 and then eventually pawn f4. And trading also makes some sense. But then I have to worry about knight c4. Okay, let's start with this. I'm expecting rook c8. And there is a prophylactic move here, which sometimes does make sense, is pawn b3. Even though it weakens the knight, it prevents knight c4. I think the other option is just to allow this and then take, which I think I like more. Yeah, let's just allow knight c4. It's not a great bishop on e2, so I wouldn't mind trading it off for the more active knight. I was just calculating some line like this, takes, bishop h6. I don't think bishop h6 works immediately because there's rook takes d4. Here it takes and my queen is overworked. So let's play knight b3. Yeah, just making sure the knight's not a target in the center. And going forward, I do want to trade off black's dragon bishop. One of the best minor pieces for black. Just making sure I'm not overlooking anything. Very often black will play a move like rook e8, meet bishop h6 with bishop h8. And maybe that was possible. But now we're pretty much guaranteed to trade bishops. And now it's a question. I mean, how to apply pressure to black setup. I mean, e5 is definitely an idea I want to keep in mind. f4 doesn't work because e4 is vulnerable. So I think this is actually a key position to try and figure out the plan going forward. And is black threatening b4? There is an idea, knight d5. We trade, and then I get the e file to work with. That's interesting. Another idea is just to try and prepare e5, like rook e1. It's also a question what my knights are doing. Like this knight, I feel like its only future is to move to d5. Let's do it. I think it's a decent transformation. Like after takes, if black goes into it, the pawn controls a bit more space. And yeah, long-term, black's e-pawn could be a target. Okay, black's probably going to go for this and maybe pressure the c-file. And then, yeah, I probably want to play c3 at some point. Yeah, it's a more positional game so far. Okay, c3 I think makes a lot of sense. And this bishop does not combine well with these pawns. Like maybe g4 at some point. Okay, Black plays h5. A discouraging g4. Play knight d4. I'm feeling good. I feel like the play is going to flow a bit more smoothly compared to maybe earlier in the middle game where it wasn't exactly clear what I was doing. I think the knight is better than the bishop. Let's slide the king over. Very typical move in these kind of Sicilian positions. And now I would like to pressure the pawn. Rook e1. It's a question if I want to go for the f-pawn thrust. Oh, there's a tricky move, queen e3. Threatening to win the queen. Let's start with queen e3. I feel like this might be one of the first tactical threats of the game. So I'm threatening the undefended pawn and threatening the knight checks to win the black queen. So yeah, queen d8 was maybe forced there. And now, yeah, let's move this rook to the e file. So black's on some defensive. There's b3. I'm going to play patiently. Let's play rook e2. I was thinking if black plays b4, I can take, and then queen c3, hitting the rook and also hitting the king. Okay, rook d5 is played. I guess that is kind of a threat. I could move the knight. Knight c2 or knight b3. Let's play knight b3. Attacking and defending. Yeah, what to do? Rook e1. Making a gun. Usually when you have a triple battery, the queen doesn't want to be the one leading the battery. Maybe the queen's ready to come in like via a7 or g5. And there's still this potential tactic if b4 I take, queen c3. Would win the rook in that line. We might see e6. Try and trade off my d-pawn. But e6 leaves d6 as a long-term target. Okay, a5. Interesting. I go back. Let's go back to d2. Yeah, I felt like the knight was restricted from d4. Like maybe it's more useful routing to e4 and then g5. Play queen d4 check. If e5, there's en passant with check. Be a big blunder for black. So I think the king has to move. Like f6 is pretty ugly looking. So imagine king h7 and then knight e4. Already sensing some potential tactics. I have queen a7 here. Now if the e-pawn moves, I can take, and then fork. Yeah, trying to attack from multiple directions. a4. Let's play a3. A simple positional move. Fixing the queenside pawns. I'm not actually sure if I'm threatening anything. It feels really close to something working. If rook c7, knight f6. There's a line, rook c7, knight f6 takes, we trade everything. I would win a pawn, but get back rank mated in the end. So at some point, it might make sense to make a Luft with h3. Okay, now I should have a tactic. I can take... Wait a minute. Take, check. Take. It's just a big trade. Oh, maybe I don't have anything. Oh, but I can take on d6. Yeah, that wins a pawn. Take. D5 is vulnerable. I think I still go for it. All right. And the rook ending still takes work. I have this, but then there's this. I didn't make Luft yet. Maybe rook e4? Yeah, it's still not easy. Rook c5 is a threat. So here. Let's say king g1. I'm not sure about that. I think I should start with this. And try and get the king in. Up a pawn, but black's play is pretty simple here. Okay, if king e5, I have f4. Black's not actually winning the pawn. There might be g5. G5, maybe g3. Ooh. So if I take... Wait, take f4? That's an interesting move. I think I can play this. Take. I'm not sure. What if I just move back? Let's move back. I didn't want to allow the rook trade. King e5 is likely coming. Let's play g3. So if rook c5, I have check here, check here. The king is in my crib. I defend the pawn. Let's play this. I'm losing the pawn. Check. Let's play this. If here I play this. Yeah, I couldn't allow king c4. Oh man, I'm down 2 minutes. This could be a close finish. Let's check. Check. I walk up with the king. I didn't calculate the pawn race. I think it's winning for me though. I'm not sure. At least if black trades her rooks. Yeah, this seems like a critical moment for black. King's tied down to the pawn. So let's just be extra sure. Take, king h4, king c4, king h5, king b3, king g5, take h4, take h5, king b... Oh, wow. I don't think I win. Wait, rook d5. Take, king h4, king c4, king h5, king here. h4, king b2, king g5, king a3, h5. Let's say king b3, h6, a3, h7, a2, queen. And I get the first move? What's the position? King's on b3, king on g5. So I could start checking. There's like... Also depends where the king goes. If the king goes to b2, I have this check to win. If the king goes to b3... Oh dear. I didn't even see black moved. Wait. Is this winning? I didn't see black moved in that. I was still calculating the wrong line. Okay. Pre-move. Okay. This is winning, but do I have enough time? I should. Check. Check. Okay, this is plenty of time. Are they going to try the Rosen trap? No. Okay. I gave him a chance there. Okay. How much time did I take not realizing it was my move? I was so lost in the calculation. It took 30 seconds. Oh, man. Because I was just making artwork with drawing all the arrows. I just didn't see rook c4 was played. That's super fortunate. Yeah, rook d5 I think was a better try. Because then if I trade rooks, the king is a bit quicker to come in and win the b2 pawn. The problem for black after rook c4 was this pawn's in the way of winning this. So let's just quickly check. Yeah, rook c4 is losing, of course. If rook d5... Oh, wow. So rook takes d5 is losing for me. I would have gone for this. Not because of king c4, but because of this. Ah, and if I take here, the problem is... Okay, apparently king e4 is better. Yeah, black's just quicker. Black queen's first. And what ends up happening is black can force a queen trade, and the king's just much closer to the pawns. Wow. Okay, I'm very fortunate there. Got super tricky. Maybe I was too quick to like win the pawn with knight takes d6. Wow, engine just says like very close to equal. Likes king g1 best. I mean, knight d6. Like d6 black is no. It's equal. Even though white's up a pawn, black just has enough counterplay with d5 being weak. Okay. I just want to see the opening. Let's see if anything major was missed. Yeah, I didn't really get what I wanted from this opening. The opponent played well. Okay, apparently here e5 is quite strong, because if takes knight d5, oh man. Did not consider this at all. And yeah, this is working because I'm threatening to take and then win material on the d-file. And if black takes and takes, then yeah, the bishop's pinned by the battery. If this, there's this. I guess there's also bishop b6 ideas. The best move is knight h5, knight b6 with a fork, and if rook c7. Oh, then we just take. Yeah, free material. Okay, that would have been nice to find. But yeah, then around here it felt very good. The engine likes white. Felt so close to having a knockout blow. Okay, yeah, I was too hasty in trading queens. I just saw I'm winning a pawn and thought it's good enough. The best move is queen e3, just migrating to the king side. And this is actually a deadly threat, queen h6, knight g5. I had this in the back of my mind, but I thought, okay, there's king h7, and it still seems tricky to make progress. I guess it is. Engine says best move is h3 here. Preparing g4, okay. Yeah, it still takes some work to build up the attack. Anyway, had some really hard-fought games today. I think I'm going to end it here, finishing this episode rated 23-17. I think I'm very fortunate to come away with 2 wins. I hope you guys enjoyed the chess. As always, if you have questions, leave them below. If you like the content, do subscribe and stay tuned for more. I'll see you guys soon.